Irish Guy Android, Premier League Game Week 28 predictions. And oh boy, this is a big one. Liverpool versus Manchester City. Oh, wow. And lads, same story here as usual. If I don't get at least one correct scoreline this weekend, and I am feeling confident again because I got one right last week, and then if I don't, then I will chew every page of a Captain Underpants book. Right, let's go. Man United 1, Everton 1. How do Manchester United fans feel right now? Over 2 million people tuned in to see Solskjaer have breakfast with Roy Keane, and I'm threatening to key Jill Scott's car if she steals his croissant. I mean, I don't know what happens when the cameras are off, but I don't know. Considering your old beloved boss has been in hiding for the last 3 years, this must be a shock to the system again. I mean, it's like when we saw Gollum again in the first Hobbit film. It must have been strange to hear him talking so openly about his Ronaldo regret. Sorry, Ollie, but if Ronaldo gets Sky on a dodgy box sale on Nasser, he'll probably also delete you as a Facebook friend. Poor old Gary Neville was only finally stopped crying. But it's quite fitting that this interview came out this week because Manchester United versus Everton was arguably the fixture when the wheels really came off the bus. Ronaldo had been dropped to the bench and was in a foul mood already when Anthony Townsend banged in an equaliser and celebrated with a cheeky Sue. That's a celebration noise, by the way. I don't mean he was suddenly twerking with some fat lunch lady on the pitch. But yeah, Ronaldo threw Ollie under the bus by looking really mad after the match. It was undermining. A bit like when your wife starts beating you with a handbag in the TK Maxx queue. Please don't do that, thanks. Now everyone's gonna know I have the backbone of a shrimp. Well, lads, I think this is going to be the same result. A 1-1 draw. I reckon Manchester United will grab an early goal through a Rasmus Højlund strike. But yeah, I mean, Sean Dyche is a man who used to regularly grind out results at this ground with Burnley. That man finds it so easy and natural to frustrate the Old Trafford crowd. To him, it's about as simple a chore as mowing the lawn or cleaning poo out of your sink. I reckon James Garner is gonna have the best game of his career. And yeah, will score a wonder goal against his former club to absolutely silence the Stretford end. And yeah, I know this means it will technically be 11 games without an Everton win, but if that really is the negative headline in the Toffees camp, then they really are more miserable than that depressed donkey of Winnie the Pooh. Oh yeah, and by the way, I almost forgot. Man United did not lose the Manchester Derby by 3 goals last weekend, so... This is weird. Oh, and yes, don't worry, I'm doing my couch in a field forfeit next week. I can finally lift it again because my knees have only just recovered from this horrible, moronic tackle. It's like Wimbledon in the 90s. I was about to score an absolute Bonarfa-esque wonder goal, and I instead get chopped down in my prime by this oaf. I was not happy. Bournemouth 3, Sheffield United 0. What is the point of Sheffield United? This isn't funny anymore. This is just woeful and sad. Look, seeing the Blades get embarrassingly chewed apart every week might have been exciting if they didn't already have 13 points on the board. If they had less than Derby County's pathetic 11, then it would be kind of exciting to see if we really are looking at the worst ever Premier League side. I mean, that's something you don't see every year. Finding a worse team than Robbie Savage's Derby County 16 years ago is a bit like trying to find an uglier human than Danny DeVito. That's mean. I liked him in Hercules. But Sheffield United can lose every remaining match by 5 goals or more if they want. They still won't be the worst team in Premier League history. So it's just a bit, nothing to see here, folks. Yes, a terrible team, but not a record-breaking terrible team. This squad have given up. They are demoralized. Broken bunch of deflated mice. Sorry, but they will not put up much of a fight here against Iriola Ball. 3-0. Goals from Justin Kluivert, Luis Sinisterra, and Dominic Solanke. Sheffield United winning here is about as likely as Francis and Ghana winning tonight. Excuse me while I laugh like a chicken. Crystal Palace 2, Luton Town 1. This is Luton Town's first trip to Selhurst Park since February 2007, where they also lost 2-1. Same here. Next. Yeah, I mean, that was about as in-depth and informative an analysis as anything Clinton Morrison says on Sky. Really, he actually scored both goals for Palace in that match. That's how long ago this fixture was. Well, lads, the wheels are falling off the Luton train. I know we don't want to admit it. We love this little mini underdog tale. They are a battling, tiny little team punching above their weight, right? Well, if they lose here at Palace, they will have lost 5 games in a row. 5. Luton have not lost 5 league games in a row since the winter of 2019. But listen, I am sorry, but Palace under Oliver Glasner, they are still coasting on the new manager bounce. I just see 2 goals from Ebereki Eze and a consolation strike from maybe Ross Barkley. But sorry, Palace win. I see absolutely no way for a Luton victory here. And let's put it this way. If Luton do win this match, then I will pour 3 buckets of melted ice cream on my head. Wolves 1, Fulham 0. Yeah. For anyone thinking they're about to see a super exciting match at Molineux on Saturday, just a warning to anyone who's got a ticket, lower your expectations. It's going to be about as exciting as sitting through Napoleon. I haven't seen that film, but it looks more boring than watching my grandma eating flowers on the loo. Yeah, I don't really want to see the Joker sitting on a horse, but at least it won't be the most embarrassing thing on Netflix. Now when Mike Tyson gets knocked out cold, but by the way, he's 31 years older than Jake Paul. It's like one day Jake Paul fighting someone who right now is -4. What has boxing become? But lads, there was a brief window of time where every time Fulham visited Molineux, it completely kicked off. In January 2015, there was a 3-3 draw in the FA Cup. A month later, Wolves beat them 3-0 in the league. The following January, it was a narrow 3-2 Wolves win. And then in December of that year, it was a nutty 4-4 draw, where both teams scored in injury time. That is 22 goals scored in 4 matches. Since then, the goals have completely dried up. In the 4 times Fulham have gone to Molineux since, there's been 4 goals scored. Yuck! Fulham have not scored a single goal at this ground since their 94th minute equaliser in that 4-4 draw 8 years ago. So anyone who thinks this match is going to be exciting, no, again, if it's in the top 3 games shown on Match of the Day, then I will lick every page of a Harry Potter book. 1-0 Wolves win. Adama Traore with the own goal against his former club, showing all the grace of Mr. Potato Head by stupidly bundling in from a corner. Next, Arsenal 4, Brentford 1. Oh, well, this is obvious. Here we have the Premier League's form team against one of the league's most out-of-form teams. Brentford are conceding goals for fun, while Arsenal are scoring goals for fun. Of course the Gunners are going to eat the bees with a knife and fork. Goals from Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka, and you know what? Jorginho with a pen. With someone like Ivan Toney smacking in a world-class consolation. If Thomas Frank somehow leaves the Emirates with a win, then I will eat 15 bananas in a row. Do you know what that would do to my bowels? I might as well swallow a bowl of laxatives in my morning cornflakes. Aston Villa 0, Tottenham 1. Look, I know that Aston Villa have beaten Tottenham the last 3 times they played them. That's an incredible turnaround considering that Tottenham actually left Villa Park with a 4-0 win less than 2 years ago. It seems absolutely stupid me predicting a Tottenham win, considering Unai Emery clearly has the club's number. But I'm sorry, I have said that I think Tottenham are pipping Aston Villa to 4th, so this is the perfect chance for Postecoglou to prove me right. This might not be a must-win game for Spurs, but it's getting dangerously close to must-not-lose, because if they do, the Villa will be 8 points clear of them. I mean, yes, Spurs will have a game in hand, but psychologically, that is more deflating than being told by your mum that you're having Portuguese spinach for tea. I think this will be a smash and grab Tottenham win. Villa will get someone stupidly sent off early doors. Richarlison will pounce to score a winner. Cue absolute scenes in the away end. This is going to be Tottenham's most important win of the season. And if Villa do win, because I have so much faith in Ange Ball not to lose such an important match, then yeah, if Villa win this mammoth game, then I will pour a bowl of mashed potato on my head. Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 3. Brighton are in free fall. This is the moment where Roberto De Zerbi's stock falls off a cliff and into Roberto Martinez territory. Someone who was also once linked with the Barcelona job. He must be a bit embarrassed. This is the man who is linked with Manchester United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. He's got Pep Guardiola recommending him to Barca. This just is Martinez territory, because all of that happened to him as well. I'm half thinking that Pep is just trying to trick a Champions League rival into appointing some overrated mini hobbit with all the naive tactics of white cheese. Nah, to be fair, I do get why Pep's in love with De Zerbi, because Guardiola is a man he also used to drool over Bielsa, and he went out swinging, getting sacked by Leeds after conceding 40 goals in his last 12 Premier League matches. Brighton are in similar free fall, and nobody has really noticed it yet. After a blistering start of the season, 5 wins from 6, their results have been largely dreadful since. Just 5 league wins in nearly 6 months. They've conceded 6 at Aston Villa, 4 at Luton Town, and were just absolutely embarrassed in Rome. This wasn't even De Zerbi versus Mourinho. It was De Zerbi versus De Rossi, which sounds like an ancient gladiator matchup, but in reality, this was an experienced manager who's been coaching for over 10 years, getting schooled by some 40-year-old novice. De Rossi is a rookie, and yet gave De Zerbi so many headaches. Even now, it probably feels like someone's just done keepy uppies with its brain. Brighton are in absolute rotten form, and so yeah, I think Forest are going to be devastating on the counter-attack. Don't get me wrong, Brighton will have more than 60% possession of the ball, and if they don't, then I will pour 10 yogurts on my nose, but Forest will catch them on the break repeatedly. Anthony Elanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi will rip them to shreds, sharing the goals, and yeah, that'll be the Barcelona Chiefs very quickly deleting De Zerbi's number from their phone. West Ham 2, Burnley 0. This is so straightforward. Another Burnley game, another Burnley loss. I mean, yes, normally this would be a brilliant time to catch West Ham after an absorbing, exhausting, dreary European trip midweek, but even still, Burnley still aren't good enough to take advantage. 2-0, both goals from Mohamed Kudus. Next, Liverpool 1, Man City 1. This is a huge match, a mega monster game, a title decider, right? Wrong. There is nothing decisive about this because we are 10 games out from the end of the season, but it is a huge match. It is a must not lose game for both. and I don't think either will. I think this will be a bit of a letdown. We have been spoiled by the other goal fest this fixture has produced recently, and it is a bit sad that this is potentially the last ever meeting between Guardiola and Klopp, with the big rivalries between monster managers. We never really knew when the last time would be when they'd face off. Wenger versus Fergie's last meeting was just some tepid 1-1 draw at the Emirates, where Van Persie scored a penalty against his old club, causing most of the home fans to feel like he's just eaten a pie filled with maggots. I mean, Mourinho and Wenger's last grudge meeting was, a 2-1 Man United win in April 2018, when Fellaini scored the winner. Neither one was a thrilling, epic clash, and so with this one, I think this will be a pretty nervy, tepid game. 1-1, Salah scoring early in the second half, and then Foden netting a late equaliser. No winners, no losers, just a bit meh. Chelsea 0, Newcastle 2. Look, Newcastle should have left Stamford Bridge with a win in the League Cup quarter-final in December. And the fact that they didn't, that Kieran Trippier instead choked in the final minute, that will hurt. Chelsea should not have been in that position to be exposed by Liverpool's kids in the final. That should have been Newcastle at Wembley. And I'm sorry, can you imagine Geordie born and bred and Newcastle cult hero Lee Clark watching his son Bobby playing for Liverpool against them? I mean, this is someone who was playing for Sunderland, rocked up to Newcastle's FA Cup final, wearing a t-shirt that slagged off his own team. He is someone who cares so much about Newcastle football that he was recently director of Newcastle Blue Star. That is literally a small-time club just 5 minutes down the road from me. Like every other football mad Geordie, he wants so badly for Newcastle to win a cup. But can you imagine how conflicted he'd feel cheering on his own son? It's probably a good job that Trippier did mess up, because if Liverpool did beat Newcastle in the final, he would probably feel like putting his own son up for adoption online. But listen, Newcastle should have won here a few months ago, and they will win here now. 2-0, goals from Alexander-Isak and Anthony Gordon. Chelsea will offer very little, with the fans very well and truly on Pochettino's back. Honestly, Monday night at Stamford Bridge is going to be verging on toxic. Remember when Newcastle beat Arsenal on Monday night to deprive them of Champions League football a couple of years ago, and Neville and Carragher said that was the end of the road for Arteta? They're going to say very similar things about Poch and improvement. If Neville and Carragher do not speak about Chelsea replacing Pochettino on Monday night, then I will mush my face into a plate of undercooked lasagna. Anyway, that's the review. Let me know what do you think. Let me know what are your predictions. Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.